Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be an update on the long range. The main thing that's going on is a big pattern change, and this pattern change will be very drastic. I mean, we've been looking at temperatures running way above average across much of the eastern US. Maybe the northwest was a little bit chilly, but now a lot of this temperature, contrast will really end as the cold air really pushes itself into the eastern US and kind of sits there for a while. So this may be historic, as it will bring temperatures, possibly break records in some areas. The anomalies will be close to 20 to 25 degrees below average. A big snowstorm is on its way for the northern plains, so there's a lot of stuff to talk about. This is very exciting, and also consider subscribing to this channel, guys. Consider liking this video. My channel is all about the weather. I talk about the weather. I make winter storm updates, hurricane updates, severe thunderstorm updates when it's in the springtime. So really consider subscribing, as I will not stop doing this channel anytime soon. Also, thank you so much for the support on the video. It got 30,000 views within 2 days, the one from a couple days ago. Thank you so much. It really means a lot, and the comments have been truly heartwarming, so thank you so much. So let's go through this. Right now we're looking at the 12Z October run, so this one was made at noon. The newest one is coming in, the 18Z, but you can see it's only up to hour 42, so probably within 20 or 30 minutes, the new one will come in. However, the thing is, I need to record this video now because I'm gonna go soon somewhere, so I don't really have time for it to wait. I don't really have 40 minutes for it to come in, so I'll just use this model data. The good thing is, guys, that we don't really need to wait for the next model run, as these models have been very consistent. Each one has been showing very similar things. The long range, like what happens after this big pattern change, around 200 to 300 hours out, that's a little bit iffy. It may warm up a little bit, may stay cool. That's a little bit iffy, but they've been very consistent on this major cooldown. So let's go through this. So right now you can see there is a rather cool air mass across a good portion of the northern US, as this is bringing some frost and freezes across the UP of Michigan and the northern Wisconsin into Michigan. This, however, gets replaced by some warmer conditions, possibly a nor'easter, kind of like of a rain, and it's nor'easter, not really snow. But I remember saying this in my winter forecast, that we may be looking at these nor'easters, just forming despite not even being cold enough. You could see that they're just already forming at this time of the year, which is pretty impressive. You could see if this was cold enough, then that would be probably several inches of good snow for the northeast. But it's a little bit offshore, so it doesn't seem too much flooding will occur. Possibly though some coastal flood advisories will be issued. But the main attention turns to this system. As you can see, a big trough in the jet stream. We get these blue colors. Look at that. Montana again getting slammed by heavy snow down into Manitoba and to Saskatchewan. Big Bear Lake, I think that's what it's called. I will be seeing snow out of this, and look at this. It just comes out into the plains, this system from Colorado, a Colorado low, that's basically what it's called, since it forms in Colorado and moves out from the west, from Colorado into the plains. And you can see that once it does so, it just erupts. The snow is insanely heavy with this. You can see it's stretching across several thousand miles, potentially from southern Colorado, portions of extreme northern Arizona, all the way to Hudson Bay, James Bay, and that's where polar bears live, just to give you a reference, because this may not seem that far on the map. That's pretty darn far. And if we were to continuously do this, you could see that this is now Thursday, Friday. Look at that. This system, maybe it's not too awfully organized. You can see that the rain shield is a little bit broken apart, but it has a very, very negative tilt to it. Usually, we see storm as a classic fall or spring storm. We have a cold front, and then we have the warm front out ahead of it, and then here we have really heavy snow, and then here we have some severe weather, and here we have some rain showers out ahead of it. This one though, this one is very on a negative axis. If you were to look at this, it's tough to kind of define this. Here's the cold front, but mainly, actually no, let me redraw that. The cold front really is right across here, and the warm front is doing that. It's not really like a classic just running along the x-axis. It's running way up to the north. So this you know what this means? This means out ahead of the storm there will be very warm conditions. Look at those 2-meter temperature anomalies. You could see 12 to 16 to 20 degrees above average, and that is that is pleasant. That will bring 60s and 70s to many locations, but it will be brief. And brief will it be? I mean, what's behind this warm up is just brutal. I mean, we could be looking at first frost for a good portion of the country that even shouldn't be releasing frost at this time of the year. But look, it kind of wraps itself around, and look at that. So it brings up a load of moisture. There will be some flooding potential with this for sure. Very heavy snow. This one has snow into Iowa, northern Missouri. So this just goes to show you that this storm is just absolutely ridiculous. It's a historic storm. It truly is. It's gonna break records in terms of snow, in terms of possibly some earliest snow for some location. If this this model run is showing a particular scenario, if this one comes out of similar fashion, we may be looking at northern Missouri seeing some light snow, which I think that may be, for some, the earliest snowfall, maybe not. We'll have to see, but also probably just from the amounts of the snow, it could be a record for, this early on in the year. Also, in terms of temperatures, I think there will be records. So this is all throughout historic storm, and look at what it does here. It moves usually north to south or northwest to northeast, or sorry, southwest to northeast. But look at this. It kind of sits there and jumps back into the United States while delivering some pretty blustery snow showers, blustery conditions across a good portion of the Midwest. And this upcoming weekend would be a blustery one for the Northeast, for the Midwest, and much of the South as well. We see the snow up here and the 32-degree line up there, but this means 50s and 40s and 60s for the South. And I know that the Southern U.S. has been wanting these temperatures for a while, so you will definitely get them. And you can see up here, it kind of dissipates, and it's an interesting storm because usually these storms, when they go through the United States in this similar fashion, they go out through Canada and they strengthen into the superstorms out in the Arctic. And out in the first they go through Canada, Canadian Maritimes up there, and then once they reach around Greenland, they just erupt into these super storms. This one, you can see it starts at 977, which is pretty strong system, pretty strong low, closed low, but then it becomes open to the elements, and look, it just dissipates, and there's just some rain showers out of it. Then we could see a brief warm up. You can see another system tries making its way in, but then we see another cool down, and this one doesn't really have a snowstorm associated with it, just some snow showers. But look at that, possibly some snow into Pennsylvania. With this is very far out, but you can see this model run, this scenario has a cold extending all the way through the 15-day outlook range with this one. So this pattern change, once it's here, may be here to stay for quite a while. But look at that, just look at that. Look at those anomalies. I mean, look, Texas will be chilly, and many of these locations that already saw that cold front, I mean, this cold front will be a drastic change. Look, we're going from about 6 to 8 degrees above average to 16 to 20 degrees below average, which is a very stark contrast, and you will definitely feel it. Now, obviously, there won't be snow in the South. It's just too warm. It's just too early on in the year for that. But you definitely will be feeling the chill, and it will definitely feel like fall. And look, as it moves on into the other portions of the U.S., it kind of weakens, but it still brings a good chill into much of the South: Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, Arkansas, Texas, all these states. Then east, the very extreme east portions of North Carolina, in South Carolina may not get really much relief. Because this one kind of dissipates by the time before it starts to warm up, and you can see once it weakens, it kind of centers itself across the Midwest. So the Midwest may be seeing chilly conditions for a while, but look at the North Carolina, South Carolina region. They're staying above average for the most of this. But then we see another possibly cooler system, and then another one which would finally bring some chillier temperatures for the Carolinas. It's just a matter of the placement of this, and I'm not even sure. You know, this first one may actually bring chillier conditions. It's just depending on the placement and how the models organize it. If we look at the European model, they're showing very similar thing. And let's look at the 500 millibar geopotential height and anomaly. This is basically what shows us where the troughs and ridges show up on the maps, and you can see there's a big dip in the jet stream across the west. This is Thursday, October 10th, and then look, it just kind of sets itself across much of the eastern and U.S., and then possibly another one coming in here. So the European is on top of this, agreeing with this with the GFS. So that's good news. We like consistency. Here's the GEFS, which is the GFS ensemble members, and you can see they also show that nice trough, bringing very chilly conditions. Then it kind of evens out, but that's normal because it's in a long range. Some models start disagreeing with each other. Others, you know, agree with each other. So, and this is an ensemble, so that means it's, you know, like if you have a orchestra ensemble or any of that sort, there's several pieces to it, and you can see that they show that really nice dip. However, this is actually for, let's see if we could just go to 2 meter temperature anomaly. I want to look at this. Yeah, so the GEFS ensembles, they show a big dip in a jet stream right here, and then they move on forward. It kind of withers away, but then they show kind of another one possibly making its way in here. So that's interesting, if you know, if that were to happen. So that's basically it for today's video, guys. I could show you actually the 8 to 14 day outlook because that has been pretty interesting. They've been showing some well, now they updated it, and you can see that the 14th through the 20th, so this is where maybe a little bit of warmer conditions may come in. They're showing some above average for the south. The 6 to 10 I think is still rather chilly. Yeah, you can see showing blue colors, which would bring almost 70% confidence in it being below average, which is relatively high. I mean, 6 to 10 day outlook, you know, that's usually considered the long range. 6 to 10, anything under 5 is like the medium to short. So much of the U.S., if not all, excluding the East Coast, which will get their fair share throughout the winter, no worries. But also notice how the above average, I guess, area of precip is also where like the storms will track, and it will produce a lot of rain. And as we're watching the end of the video, the clock goes off again. So if you're watching this video at this point, which I don't think many will be, I mean, if you are, you're amazing, but put down like clock singing or something, I don't know. I heard the clock, something like that, because this clock, yeah, it's at the last seconds of the video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.